Hello and welcome. My name is Nicole Ronchetti, Product Specialist at DSD Business Systems. In this video, we will discuss the general features of the DSD ScamForce Multi-Bin Basic module. The DSD ScamForce Multi-Bin module allows for inventory items to be tracked in multiple bin locations throughout the Sage 100 distribution and manufacturing modules. One of the key features of the enhancement is that it allows you to define the environment by warehouse code. This is an important feature because many businesses have unique processes and needs based on the location. Another nice feature is the Smart Bin Number. The Smart Bin Number functions similarly to how GL accounts function within Sage 100. Users can define up to 5 segments within the bin number. For example, each bin number can be a combination of 3 segments, where the first segment is the aisle, the second segment is the level, and the third segment is the bin. That way, with the Smart Bin Number, users can look at the bin number and easily see where exactly it's located within the warehouse. Smart Bin Numbers are optional, however, they do allow for additional reporting options where users can view information based on the segment. Multi-bin also adds the ability to allocate inventory to specific orders or transactions. For example, I can allocate specific items to a particular sales order so that these items cannot be placed on another order. Some additional features of the multi-bin module include quick bin transfers, which allow you to instantly move inventory from one location to another, as well as the added ability of setting defaults for the multi-bin module based on item, product line, and bin. So let's get started and show some of the great features that multi-bin has to offer. First off, you will notice that after installing and setting up the DSD ScamForce Multi-Bin Basic module, that this module has been added to my desktop. Within the multi-bin module, I have the main menu, reports, setup, and utilities. Let's go ahead and launch the warehouse bin maintenance task to see our warehouse bin settings. In Warehouse 000, for example, I have multi-bin enabled, and I've also decided to utilize the Smart Bin Number features, and I've added a bin location structure. In this example, we have our first segment as the aisle, second as the rack, and third as the bin. If we look at another warehouse code, such as 002, you'll notice that multi-bin is enabled, but in this instance, I've chosen not to utilize the bin location structure. We can also look at a third warehouse, 098, in which I've chosen to leave multi-bin off. Again, users can define the settings based on warehouse code within your Sage 100 company. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our bin location maintenance in the main menu. From this task, I can create, modify, or delete existing bin locations. You will notice in this screen I can set minimum and maximum quantities for the bin, select a location type, or make the bin active or inactive. For this location, we've utilized the Smart Bin Number segment code features. You'll notice that this bin location is in aisle A, rack 100, bin 00. I can also see additional information below for last received date, last issued date, last sold, and last counted date. From the Restrictions tab, I can set additional restrictions on the bin location, either based on transaction type, based on the item code or product line, or based on the customer. From the Items tab, I can set multiple min-max quantities for multiple item codes within this bin location. Within the Quantity tab, I can view all items and all quantities of items located in this particular location. I can also utilize our quick bin transfer features from within the bin location maintenance as well. So I can select an item, select my transfer button here, and choose to transfer either one or all of this item to another bin location. So in this example, I will transfer just one of this item to bin location A120. I can also transfer all of the items located in this bin location to another location by clicking the transfer button at the top of the screen. This will transfer all 29 of these items to another bin location. You will notice now, looking at the quantity tab, that all of my items have been moved. Let's go ahead and take a look at our receiving location. You will notice with multi-bin that I can enter in bin locations utilizing the smart bin numbers or just using the entire bin location field. If I look at the Transactions tab, I can see all transactions for all items that have moved in and out of this bin location. I can look at the Allocations tab to see current open items that have not been posted that are currently allocated to various transactions. With multi-bin installed, I can also see my bin location information from within the item maintenance and item inquiry tasks as well. If I select a particular item code, I can simply double-click on the warehouse code located in the quantities grid at the bottom of the screen and quickly see exactly where this is located in my warehouse. I can also toggle this view. For example, in the case of lot serial items, I can toggle between bin location and lot serial. The lot serial view shows me every lot number and quantity located for every bin location. If I change my view to bin, I will see a summary of all of those lot numbers by bin location. From this screen, I additionally have the ability to do quick bin transfers as we saw before. I can select the bin location, select my transfer button, choose my destination bin, and enter my transfer quantity. You will now see that this item now exists in 2 bin locations. From the item bin maintenance screen, I can also see a list of the transaction history, as well as any current allocations. Now let's take a look at how multi-bin affects our data entry tasks within Sage 100. In this example, I will be doing a receipted goods entry from the purchase order module. Once we are in the Lines tab and I enter in our received quantity, you will notice that the bin location distribution window appears. I can either select from the list a bin location or enter in a bin location field in the screen. If I select a bin location in which the PO receipt of goods transaction is restricted, I will receive a message that PO receipt transactions are not allowed for this bin location. I'm going to go ahead and select my receiving bin location. I can also choose to allocate these items to multiple bin locations at one time. So in this instance, I've left 1 in my receiving location and 4 in another. For lot serial items, you will notice that the bin location distribution window has been changed to allow for entry of both the bin location as well as a lot number. So I can choose to receive the items to my receiving location and can enter multiple lot numbers as well. You'll notice that I have an option enabled here to default to prior row. What this allows to have happen is each time I enter in a new lot or serial number, the bin location will automatically populate based on the prior row. From this screen, I can do multiple bin locations as well as multiple lot numbers. Now, once we choose to post our transaction, our posting process will be the same. I also have the option to print a recap by bin location as well. You will see here all of the items that were received to bin locations by bin location, as well as the lot and serial numbers and quantities that were received. Now, let's take a look at how multi-bin affects data entry in the sales order module. First, in order to perform allocations during sales order entry, you must make sure that the option in sales order options to enable lot serial distribution is set to yes. When entering my sales order, if I select an item where multi-bin is enabled and enter my quantity, you will notice that the bin location distribution window appears. If I select a bin location where this transaction type is not allowed, I will see a warning and will not be allowed to distribute to that bin location. You will notice that each time that I enter in any item where bin locations are enabled, I will see my bin location distribution screen. The automatic display of the bin location distribution window can be disabled in our multi-bin options. Allocations made during sales order entry will carry through to the invoice once the order is invoiced or shipped from shipping data entry. Now, let's take a look at invoice data entry in the sales order module. Once I'm in the Lines tab and I enter in my shipped quantity, I can choose multiple bin locations where I would like to allocate the items. For lot serial items, I can again choose multiple lots and multiple bin locations for multiple quantities of items. Now let's create an invoice for a sales order in which items were previously allocated during sales order entry. You'll notice when I click on the Lines tab, I will see a prompt which says, do you want to ship the complete sales order? If I say yes at this prompt and items were previously allocated, you will notice that the allocations for those lines carry over from the sales order to the invoice. Items which were not previously allocated will require distribution. If when I create the invoice and I click on the Lines tab and I say no, you will notice that my shipped column is set to 0. However, when I enter in the shipped quantity, distribution will not be required because that distribution was carried over from the sales order to the invoice. Again, this item was not allocated during sales order entry, so this item will require distribution. The options to change the functionality for the prompt that's displayed when sales order invoice data entry or sales order shipping data entry is being done, those prompts can be changed based on options in our multi-bin options as well. Users can also perform multi-bin transactions from an inventory management transaction entry as well. Let's enter in a transfer. I'm going to select my from warehouse and my to warehouse. If both warehouse codes in the transfer are multi-bin enabled, you will notice that when the bin location distribution window appears, you will first select your from bin location, then you will select your to bin location. If we enter in a transfer where the from warehouse code is multi-bin enabled, but the transfer to warehouse is not multi-bin enabled, you will notice that we only choose one bin location in the bin location distribution window. For lot serial items, we will pick the bin location as well as the lot number. Multi-bin transactions can be entered for any transaction type in inventory transaction entry. You'll notice that if I select a bin location in which bin location allocations are not allowed, I will receive a warning and will not be able to allocate to or from that bin location. Now let's take a look at how something like production entry in the bill of materials module works with multi-bin. I'll select my bill number and enter in my quantity. You'll notice that multi-bin adds a distribute button on my header in the production entry screen. When I click on the distribute button, I can select to complete this parent item to multiple bin locations and multiple lot numbers. Now this is a really nice feature because in Standard Sage 100, when you are completing an item in production entry that is either a lot or a serial number, you're only able to complete that to either one single lot or a single starting serial number. This allows us to complete to multiple lot numbers or multiple unique serial numbers as well. If I select a bin location, you will notice that the system is also checking all of the min-max quantities that we set up on bin location maintenance. This particular bin location has a limit, a maximum quantity of 20. So this will not allow me to distribute 100 items to this bin location. And again, because I have the default to prior row enabled, this is automatically setting each bin location based on the prior row. So this allows for faster entry because each time I enter in a line, that bin location field is already populated for me. Again, I can also change the distribution order. If I change the distribution order to lot serial first, you will notice that my columns have rearranged, the lot number is first, and the bin location is second. And again, I have the default to prior row set, so my lot number has been set from my prior row. I can then choose another bin location to put the remaining items. If we look at our lines, you will notice that distribution is required for all of the items on the lines of the production entry. I can simply select each bin location and lot number to distribute all of my component items. Now this item in particular, this is not a lot serial item. This is a standard item and I do not have enough quantity available. You will notice that it will not allow me to distribute or go negative on that item because we are using multi-bin. I'm going to go ahead and delete that line and continue on distributing my component items. You'll notice from within this screen, whether I'm distributing lot serial items or non-lot serial items, the bin location screen is continually changing based on the item that I'm distributing. The DSD ScamForce multi-bin basic module also adds several reports to the system as well. The bin location stock status report can print information based on bin location or sorted by item code. This will show us on-hand quantities and allocation quantities and available quantities for each item code and bin location. I can also run the bin location allocation report, which will show me what items are allocated and in which bin locations, and which transactions they are allocated on. So for example, I can see that of this item code, I have 5 allocated on this invoice. This concludes our video on the general features of DSD ScamForce Multi-Bin Basic. Thank you.